Are you sure you had a baby? You look great already. Thank you. Okay, this is actually insane. What happened to my body? I'm 12 days postpartum. Like, I don't get it. I had a huge bump before. Like, what happened? It's pretty wild knowing that 2 weeks ago I felt huge, like a walrus, and I could barely bend over and put on my shoes and everything, you know? And here I am now. I don't even know. Hi! Thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Welcome back. He came out with a full set of hair, just like his mama. I had even more hair, actually. Yeah, he's so chill. He's always been chill. Like, every single checkup we've had, we go in there and they're like, oh, should we do this and this test before he starts screaming? And we were like, screaming? I don't know. Okay, so let's start with the birth story, chat. I hope you're ready for this one. I'm going to be very honest and everything, and very open. So if you think any of this is you know, or whatever, then probably turn off your ears for a few minutes. But it's not that bad. I didn't have a bad story. So, like, you know, let's start with the week of the pregnancy, or the week of the birth. We were in, I'd finished week 39 exactly on the day that he came. So during the 39th week, so between 38 and 39, I went swimming 3 times. I did my 1-hour dog walk in the mornings and everything. Hannah was coming to stay over the weekend. I went to pick her up at the station pretty late, like 10 p.m. or something on Friday. And we drove home. We were home pretty late, so we went to bed pretty late as well. Got some massage from Olaf before we went to bed because I had a bit of like back pain and stuff. And it was funny. I was literally sitting there thinking, because I know that Dorf had made a request that the baby was going to arrive on May 9 3/4. And so before going to bed, I was literally like, oh, poor Dorf. He didn't actually get his 9 3/4 baby. And I go to bed. I think I fall asleep somewhere around like midnight, 30 minutes past midnight or something, so pretty late. And then I wake up at 2:30. Normally during the pregnancy, I've been waking up around 3:30, 4 or something to go up and pee. I need to pee. I woke up at 2:30 and I looked at the clock and I was like, this is early, but okay, I'll go pee, you know? So I get up, I walk in the corridor to the bathroom, and then by pure instinct, I don't know why, but I take my hand and I put it like on top of my vagina, and poof, the water breaks. It was not like in the movies. It was more like a deciliter of water. So there was not like, yeah, it was like big fucking pee, like a huge pee, and it went like boom. It wasn't like a, you know, it was like boom. Hi, Boyd. Anyway, so it was pretty obvious that it was the water, but I expected more water. Anyway, so I go to the bathroom and I'm like, okay, inspect it. You kind of want to smell it to make sure that, I know it sounds super gross, I guess, but a healthy, whatever it's called, amniotic fluid, I think. A healthy amniotic fluid shouldn't smell anything. It literally smells like water, like salt water or something. So it didn't smell anything, which was a good sign. I was like, okay, I'll put on one of these pads to collect and see like if there's more coming, because there probably should be more coming if this has happened now. There was also this like, I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like a little bit of a slimy thing, which is basically it's like a plug, I guess you could say, that is the entrance between the womb and the vagina, right? Yeah, the mucus plug, exactly. So the parts of the mucus plug were like releasing as well. Yeah, for the cervix, exactly. Anyway, and so a bit of that came out, and I was like, okay, what now? Does this mean like it's time in a week, or like what's happening? I have no clue, you know, because a lot of things can happen. You never really know how it's gonna go. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the phone. I'll call the birth center, whatever it's called. Call them. I was like, hey, actually before that, I sent a text message to my mom and my dad because they were gonna attend my birth. Well, my mom was. I had asked her to be there because she's very good with healthcare people and everything. And I was like, it's going to be me and Olaf in there. But if something goes wrong or something, then I feel like my mom is going to be a great advocate. And she's also had 3 like fantastic births before. So I was like, I want her there. Why not? And I also know that it was a huge honor for her to be there and everything. So, but they have 3.5 hour drive to get here. And anyway, so I sent her a text message. It was in the middle of the night, right? 2:30 a.m. For some reason, she actually woke up and saw the message. And then we were like talking back and forth and everything. Anyway, so we decided that, you know what, I'm going to call the hospital just to check what they say, you know. I called them. They're basically saying that, all right, so if this is going to actually turn into, there are two possible scenarios. One, your water broke, and if nothing happens after this, we want you to come in and check it, like come in and we're going to like examine you and everything and examine the water, see that everything is good in the morning. So if that's the case, then call back later. Otherwise, the birth is going to start pretty soon. And you're going to notice that because it's going to keep sipping water, whatever, trickling water. And if it does, you might get contractions too soon and stuff. And if that happens, then you call back again. So those are the two options. And I was like, okay. She was like, you can be up and about for 30 minutes or something, walk around a little bit and see if something happens. Otherwise, go back to bed and try to get some sleep. I was like, yeah, right. But I was like, okay. I was not in any pain at this point. No pain whatsoever. I was like, okay, sure. So I started pacing around for 30 minutes. Nothing happened. I was like, okay. So I went to bed. I was like, I guess it was false alarm, you know, it was just something. And I had not disturbed Hannah at this point. Still, well, now we're probably at 3 a.m. or something. I went back to bed. And then, I don't know, maybe half an hour passed or something. No, less, actually. I think it was much shorter. I started getting this like period cramps. I was like, oh, okay. So I wrote that to my mom. She was like, ooh, maybe it's coming then. And then I was like, oh, that was a contraction. It was mild. It was weak. It didn't really hurt. It was just like uncomfortable. But I was like, that was a contraction. And then I've even written down like the timestamps and everything. My mom has not started driving yet. My dad is still asleep next to her because we don't know how fast this is going to go, right? Anyway, so I basically keep waiting a little bit. Then I get a third contraction, and that one is significantly stronger. I was like, oh, okay. So I wrote that to my mom. I was like, okay, this is getting stronger. That was a much stronger contraction. So maybe it's time to, get ready. And she was like, yep, we're getting ready, you know. She starts getting up and packing a bit. And I call them back, and they basically say, all right, cool. Take 2 Advil or whatever it is called, paracetamol, painkillers, basically. And try to wait it out for as long as you can at home. When you feel like you can't take it anymore, then call us back and you can come in. I was like, okay, I'll have to handle it at home. At this point, I think the time is like 4 or something, 4:15. So I start basically doing what I can. I go back to bed for a bit. I start getting more contractions. They're basically coming every 6 minutes or so now. And my parents basically said that they were driving in a while. She started waking up my dad, and they had a few things left to pack and everything, but they were starting to get ready. And and then at 5 a.m. I wake up Olaf, and I wake him up, and he's like, and he's about to turn around and go back to sleep, and I was like, it's happening, like it's happening, and he's like, oh. And all of a sudden, he's like up and out of bed. Jensen, thank you.
Oh my God, subsies. Thank you.
It's happening. Yeah. Everyone seems very underprepared for this unexpected birth. It was a week early, though. It was a week early. Anyway, so he's getting out of bed and starts packing and everything. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into the shower, see if the hot water can relieve some of the pain and stuff. So I did that. He started packing, and he was like, oh shit, where's the fucking baby carrier, or whatever it's called, like the car seat, right? The one that you have for the car with the baby. Where's that? And I was like, it's in the storage shed. We're in the garage. I don't know. Actually, I was pretty calm. There was no hysterics or anything, because that was my mindset. Like, I gotta stay calm. But I was like, you deal with that. It is in the garage. It is in the storage somewhere. Go check again. And he would check like 5 times before he actually found it, right? And but yeah, we should have packed this way earlier. At this point, the dogs are pretty like they know something's happening, but they're mostly concerned and like, are you okay? You know, like, why are you in pain, mommy? And stuff like that. But they're relatively calm at this point. And then we start, Olaf starts making some porridge for me, some oatmeal. And he's like, you got to eat something and prepare, you know. And I was like, I was so nauseous, but like I couldn't eat. I think I took three bites, small bites of my porridge, but I was just like, I can't eat this. Fuck this shit, you know. Anyway, I didn't pee on the floor. It was the water. Anyway, so we at 6 a.m. I was like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go now. So I call them and I'm like, okay, this is the situation. They're coming every 4 minutes at this point. My contractions every 4 minutes. And they're getting unbearable. I've been in the shower. I need to come in. They were like, sure, we've got a room ready for you. Just come on in. And yeah, we had packed most of the things, right? So I had packed everything that I needed and the baby needed, but, and like the JBL, like the speaker and stuff like that. But I had given Olaf a list of things left that was not packed, and the baby carrier thingy. So there wasn't that much to pack. For me, it was just like, take those bags. And there's a bag in the fridge as well with like protein yogurts and shit. Anyway, at 6 a.m., we decide we're going in. It was getting really, really like tough now. The contractions were rough. They were starting to be really painful. So we try to move and do things in between the contractions, right? And then you have the 4 minutes to move, and then you're like, okay, pause. You take 1 minute. A contraction is approximately 1 minute. It kind of gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and then it hits a peak, and then it like calms down. So 60 seconds is one contraction approximately, and then you talk about how often they come. For me, it was every 4 minutes. So we get into the car, we start driving. They were like, yeah, you come on over. At this point, it's 6:30 or I think or something. We arrive at the hospital 6:40 maybe. A JBL speaker, baby seat. Yeah, so the baby seat is just so that when we drive home later, then the baby can ride in the car. So it's like one of those toddler or like infant carriers for the car. The JBL speaker is because it's fantastic to have music in there, make a like calm, cozy environment, which I'm gonna get to in a bit when we get to the actual room. Anyway, so we get in. We get admitted into like this examination room, like pre-examination room. They put on like some measuring instruments on my stomach and on my finger and stuff to measure my pulse. Can I just say, I'm so surprised after having read my chart, my journal afterward, my pulse was at 62 during this whole thing. 62! Oh, it's a special one for infants, Jensen. Special one for infants, yeah. Yeah, I had a pulse of 62. And like, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was so relaxed. What is happening, you know? Yeah, it was calm as a cucumber. It was crazy. Anyway, they were just like, yeah, all the vitals looking fine. We're actually changing shift now. So at 7 a.m., the new shift is going to start. So the woman that put on all these things, she was like, I'm going to leave, but there's going to be another nurse or midwife that comes back. And she's going to take care of you for the coming session or whatever. Yeah, they put you off into the day shift. Exactly. Anyway, so I was like, okay, sure. We lie there for, 20 minutes, I guess, or something. I don't know. Was it really 20 minutes? No, I think she was a bit early, honestly. Kind of hard to have like a grasp of time exactly at this stage, especially when I do get contractions. But anyway, before 7-ish somewhere, a new lady comes in. Her name is Ida. She was absolutely fantastic. Okay. She comes in and she checks a few things. She's like, okay, can we do a little examination of your, well, basically they're going to check my cervix to see how dilated, I think it's called, dilated it is, how open I am. You want to get to 10 centimeters dilated, and that, I think that, what's it called? I have no idea what these things are called in English. Livmodertappen är utplånad, which is basically that the little opening thingy, cervix, is like completely open, but also like, I don't know. I don't know. Heckin', don't know the English terms for this. hoo-ha check. Yeah, we had a hoo-ha check, exactly. And she told me, okay, you're 5 centimeters open. So we're making good progress. I was like, okay, cool. She's like, all right, let's get you to a room. You wanted to do a birth. You wanted to give birth in a bathtub, right? So we have a room for you with a bathtub. It's currently ready. So come on over and we'll jump into the bath. Straight away. So we get to go into the room. We come in and it's like a pretty big room. There's a pretty big bathroom as well to the side, and there's a bathtub in there. The bathtub was a little bit smaller than I had expected. I was hoping a bit bigger. As a relatively tall woman, I did not fully fit into the water, and I would have loved to fit all the way into the water and be able to more like relax into it. But it was a bit too shallow and a bit too short. But oh well. Anyway, so I get in. I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump in straight away. I asked Olaf to start the JBL to get some music, because what you want to do is, if you want to progress a birth, you want to allow oxytocin, which is a hormone in your body that is like your feel-good hormone. Usually comes during sex, during massage, during like when you feel really good, basically. So anyway, you want to enhance the oxytocin levels in your body, because that is gonna like speed up, but it's going to help move your birth forward. Whereas the opposite is adrenaline, which you get when you're scared or uncomfortable and stuff like that. And that is going to like inhibit the progression of the birth. So you want to focus on the good feelings, right? That's why they asked us, do you want like this little disco ball with like cozy mood light? I was like, yeah, hell yes, give it to me. So we got like a little night star sky. I think some of you saw that on the picture I uploaded from the bathtub, or Olaf did. I did not take that picture. It was him. Anyway, so I got the music going. I was like, Olaf, put on my the playlist that I have when I write my book. That's the one I want. And I get into the bath and I start taking the contractions there. They show me how to use the laughing gas. The laughing gas was interesting. I think that at the end of the day, it did take off like the worst of the pain in the contractions, but it also doesn't really do that much, because the pain you're in is significantly larger than what the laughing gas can do for you. Like the laughing gas is weak in comparison. No rock on that playlist. No. Does it make you laugh? Well, not during labor, no. But I used it later. We'll get to that as well. And at that point, it was actually pretty funny. And I was like, I understand what laughing gas is for now. Anyway, during the labor, it mostly made me a bit nauseous. And like, because you do get high on it, right? You breathe it in. You want to breathe it in when your contraction starts, and then you stop breathing by the time, like right after you hit the peak of the worst part of the contraction, because then it starts getting out of your system by the time the contraction's over. I don't know. It worked, I guess. I used it. Didn't love it, but I guess it may have helped a little bit. Voice got low in tone. No, it didn't. And I mean, you breathe into it, and then you literally sit like a diver's mask, right? You're literally just breathing in and out, and you're just like, fucking pain. So it's not like you're sitting chatting. If you are chatting during your contraction, then you probably aren't having very strong contractions. You are not talkable, possibly screamable, but no, you're not talkable when you're having contractions. I don't know what my pulse was at this point, because they stopped measuring my pulse actually. But I will say this, I had quite long pauses. I'm currently at the stage of the opening stage, you could say. So first you have the latency phase, where like everything's like leading up to the birth and everything. And then you have the opening phase, where the cervix is actually opening significantly and preparing for the baby to come out. And then you have the pushing phase after that. So the opening phase was, in my opinion, probably the most painful phase of them all. Even though there was really, really, really much pain as well during one part of the pushing phase. But the opening phase was just so fucking painful. And I decided to not have any pain relievers besides the laughing gas. So yeah, it was painful. Yeah, dilation stage, maybe that's the word for it. Anyway, I took the contractions there. Apparently I was in the bathroom for 3 hours-ish. So I got in at 7 a.m. Around 10 a.m. Or like slightly before, maybe say 9:45 or something. I was basically asking like, "Where's my mom? She should come soon. She should come soon." In between the contractions, I was completely like talkable, and it was basically fine. I was so tired that I fell asleep several times. I fell asleep between my contractions. And at this point, it was pretty nice that I had I had long breaks between my contractions. So I think I had between 4 and 6 minutes between my contractions, which is quite long. And that kind of allowed me to like rest in between having this like huge pain. So you have this huge pain for 1 minute, and then I basically fell asleep. And then huge pain, and then fell asleep. And then I kept doing this, right, for hours and hours. Yeah, like quick naps, exactly. Nap in between. And my mom is panicking, yeah, because she's like, "Oh my God, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it?" Because we're not answering any texts, so they have no idea what's going on or what's happening or anything. Anyway, 9:45, I get out of the bath, and I'm like, I want a walking table. Basically, it's like one of these, I don't know, it looks like rollator, what's that called? But it's like one of those things that you can like grab onto, like a walker, yeah. So you can stand up. It's not like you don't bend over. You stand up fully like this. So you stand up like this, and you can put your hands here, and then you can just lean on this walking table, and you can move around if you want to. I basically hung on to that. So I literally stood there, and I was just like, resting on top of that, because I was so tired in my body, like, especially my legs were so fucking tired from all the contractions and everything, which is interesting. Anyway, so I was hanging on to that one, and she was like, "Okay, so we're preparing you. We're gonna get you up on the bed here. I'm just gonna make an examination, and then you can go back into the bathtub after, if you want." And they'll prepare, because they had to put some sort of thing inside of the bathtub if I wanted to give birth in the bathtub. Anyway, I was like, okay. So I stood there, for a few minutes. My mom comes in around 10, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so relieved to see her." Focused on other things though. And at this point, I basically go like, "I need a fucking poop. I need a poop, like now. I so need to take a shit, guys." And she's like, "No, I don't think that you..." I'm talking to the midwife. Yeah, I was like, "I need to take a big shit." She's like, "No, I don't think you need to take a big shit. I think that's something else happening." I was like, and at that point, boom. That was the first time that my body started pushing, like, automatically. It is such an animal instinct that it's insane. I was just standing there. I think next time, if I ever have another birth, I kind of want to do it like standing up. If I have the power in my legs, I think I'm gonna become a gym bro and never skip leg day for this in the future, because you're so tired in your legs after all this. Yeah, you can't even stop it. It's crazy. It just basically just goes. And it starts pushing like crazy. Holy shit. And I was like, "What the fuck, is it already happening?" That kind of thing. At this point, it's 10 a.m., right? I mean, we went into the hospital at 7 a.m. and I'm like, "Holy shit, this is going fast." Raise my desk. Okay. Here we go. Anyway, so I get up on the table finally after this whole, like, there was no poop. It was just the baby wanted to move out, right? Yeah, body serving eviction notice, exactly. And I'm in between contractions there. I managed to get up onto the bed, get my legs up in the typical movie like gynecology position, because they're gonna examine me. She looks into my vagina again and checks, and she's like, "Ooh, your cervix is 9 centimeters, and it's almost utplånad." Whatever that's called. Again, like the thingy, the thing that needs to go poof. It needs to go like, it needs to open, but it also needs to like fully become soft and like whatever. Anyway, so she actually did it manually. I didn't even have time to like react or anything. She just went in with the hands, or I don't know what she did. All of a sudden, I just noticed that she's up in there and she does something really fast. I mean, at this point, nothing is uncomfortable, because like everything else is much more uncomfortable than what they're doing, right? She just does something and boom, she fixes it. I'm 10 centimeters open, and the thingy is open or whatever. So she's like, "Yep, now you're ready." I was like, okay, Oh my God, like, damn. At this point, what is the time? The time is, I think, 10:30, 11, I think. 11, probably. At this point, the baby is pretty far up, though. So she's like, okay, I can see the baby's head from here. But, yeah, oh my God, this was a really, really experienced midwife. It turns out she was the tutor of Sofans. You know Sofans, Hannah's sister? She got educated as a midwife in Borås, the city where I live, in the hospital, like where I am. She, her tutor or whatever was my midwife that delivered my baby, which was pretty cool. She was fantastic. She was absolutely amazing. So amazing. So I'm super happy that I got her. Yeah, that is actually really cool. Anyway, yeah, Sofans knows. Small world, it really is. Anyway, so at this point, she's like, okay, the baby needs to move further down into the canal. So you're going to start getting like pushing contractions now from here on. But that doesn't mean that you're actually pushing out the baby. It means that your placenta is pushing the baby down, because like at this point, maybe the baby is here and like the head is here and you want the head to start moving down here, right? So I start getting these pushing contractions. They're fine. I mean, they hurt, but the opening phase was way worse. At this point, I don't even want the laughing gas because I feel like it's more annoying and more disturbing and everything. And she's like, okay, if we want to get you into the bathtub, we kind of need to do it now. And at this point, I was like, I'm so tired of my legs. I just want to stay here. And I just want to do this on the side. So she was like, okay, let's do it on the side then. So we flip me onto the side. They basically pull up this like, you know, you basically lie on the side like this. And then they have like this protection thing, or like a stand kind of thing where you put your leg on it, so you don't have to hold your leg up there. And that's basically how you lie. During the entire process of the pushing phase, I basically had to turn around like 4 times because it was so uncomfortable lying on the side for a really long time. But it worked fine. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm doing a land birth. Shit. I was going to do water birth, but I'm doing a land birth on my own. Like, you know, I decided it myself, though. Haha, Dorf, that's not how it works. Anyway, so I'm lying there. I start getting these really intense contractions. And I'm not sure exactly how long it takes for anything, because at this point, I'm getting a bit, like, out of it, you know. Especially since I'm falling asleep in between the contractions. At this point, I have almost 8 minutes between my contractions. 8 minutes! That is a long time when you're lying there. And, yeah, starting to get out of it, like, and basically, yeah, getting longer, which is interesting, but they're really powerful. Like, they're longer, but they're powerful. And, she's like, every time we get to a contraction and I push, basically my mom was like teaching me how to like use my diaphragm to push instead of just pure like pushing in my body. So every time there was a contraction, I was like, big inhale, down with your chin. So you put it like this and let your diaphragm like expand, because if you let it like that, then it's basically gonna become bigger and like help push, basically, because I mean it's automatically like giving you like a support for your placenta, right? So Olaf is like, she's turning not blue, but like she's turning blue-red in between each of these things, because I'm like holding my breath and like also pushing at the same time, kind of. So I managed to do like between, depending on the contraction, I managed to do like 2 to 4 pushes per contraction. So I have 60 seconds, right? Some of them were slightly shorter, some of them, yeah, 60-ish. Anyway, at this point, the contractions are coming 8 minutes apart. It's getting really exhausting. It's getting really, really, really exhausting. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the fuck was I thinking doing with this without pain relievers? But here we are. It's too late to do anything about that now. And I wouldn't have wanted to anyway. It was also kind of a cool experience, honestly. It started getting tough when the baby's head was stuck in your fucking vagina opening. That was the worst part, okay? At that point, let me tell you, It is not comfortable having 8 minutes between your fucking contractions, okay? Because when you're sitting there trying to relax and, like I had been previously, falling asleep in between contractions, let me tell you, there's no falling asleep when you have your baby's head stuck in your vagina opening, okay? That was horrible. That was fucking horrible. It burns like hell. They call it the Ring of Fire because it burns so fucking bad. And also, it simultaneously feels like someone is like you're taking the biggest fucking shit of your life, while you also kind of feel that they have their finger up your anus because they're trying to prevent a tear. Yeah, interesting time to come back. So you can feel all of this, right? Well, I mean, I don't know. I was feeling it at least. Any sign of contraction makes you kind of want to like wish that it was a contraction. At this point, I was starting to get like a few more frequent in between fake contractions that weren't. There was no power in my womb wasn't pushing. It was just giving me slight signs that it was coming. At this point, I just wanted it to come out so fast that I tried pushing during those anyway. And nothing happened. And she told me, well, that was not a real contraction because nothing happened. And I could tell that you were pushing like hell. I was like, yeah, you know, I was so exhausted afterwards. I was just like, fuck. But nothing happens if you try to push without actually pushing with your body. And this was one of the reasons why I did not want an epidural or any other pain relievers, because I kind of have heard that it gives you a better connection with your body, or at least it doesn't risk losing that connection to your body. And you basically like you can sense your signals much better and kind of work with your body instead of working against it, which should mean that it goes faster. On average, a non-medicated birth goes much faster than like 33% faster-ish in the pushing stage than an epidural version of it. So no, he's not crying at this point. He's still stuck in my vagina. Mostly the top of his head is stuck in my vagina. And yes, they were first 4 to 6 minutes apart, and then at this point they're 8 minutes apart-ish. But they were so fucking powerful. Oh, was he crying already, Olaf? No, he was actually doing fantastic. He was just trying to like, you know, I don't know, just like breathe, relax, you know, like telling me to do all these things that I was not doing. I was not breathing when the contractions hit. He was like, breathe, focus on breathing, you know, and I'm like, that kind of thing. At this point, I don't really know what the time is at this stage, but it felt like a really long time. Apparently, my pushing stage took 1.5 hours. According to my journals that I read afterwards. I did not really have any sense of anything at this point. It was very like in and out of and just focusing on the actual pushing, you know, and everything. It was a cool experience though. The worst thing was probably when I realized like I'm so fucking uncomfortable here. The baby is stuck in my vagina. Like it's sitting there. It's not going anywhere. But I need to move side. I need to change side. I cannot keep lying on this side. I need to move side. And they're like, okay, let's do this. So I basically had to flip over on my other side. I was doing side position right, so like getting my leg down. Someone was holding my leg while they took down the support, took up the other support. I tried to move while still having a fucking baby between my legs. Get my other leg up on the other side. And then we kept going. It went well though, but difficult patient, hopefully night shift comes soon. Actually, at this point, they go off at 3 p.m. I had told this midwife that he's going to be out before you go off your shift. That is my goal. Okay, this baby will be out before you end your shift. End of story, okay? That's true. At least I know what I wanted and I made sure I got it. True. Anyway, I don't know what the time was, but we were very, very close to him being out, right? His baby is stuck, or his head is stuck in my vagina. It's just a couple of more pushes to get him a bit further out. She kept telling me, this is fantastic. We want it to take time. I know it fucking hurts and it sucks, But this is fantastic that it's taking this long. All the vitals are fantastic. Your baby's doing great. You are doing great. We're making good progression and like progress and everything. So there's nothing to worry about. It is good that it is taking this much time, because that means that your vagina has the time to like expand slowly, and we're going to prevent tearing. So do not be scared of it. It is going great. You're doing amazing. Keep doing this. You know, nothing to worry about. I know, miss. That was nice to hear. I was like, okay, good. Then let's just do this last bit. But it also felt like, you know, it felt like never ending. It really, really did. And you don't really know what's happening, right? You can feel the baby making progress, like moving forward, but you have no idea how far it is left or like anything. And she keeps telling me, like, you want to feel his head? You want to feel his head? I'm like, I don't know where. How? She's like, here, come with your arm here. And I was like, oh my God, his head is so soft. This is crazy. I remember thinking that. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was like poking the top of his head, and it was just so fucking soft. And I was like, what is this? It was absolutely insane. Anyway, and then it's finally time for the final contraction, and I actually get him out in one push. It was a contraction where I managed to get 4 pushes in one contraction, and I actually managed to get him from like, you know, and you call it one push because like from the head being stuck to the head being out, that would be like, you know, yeah, from when the head moves out and the head is out to when the body comes. That entire process, like the head came and the body came in one push, like brrp. So they basically say that I got him out in one push, and the head is soft to be able to come out. Exactly. So crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I was so terrified of his head being smushed. He came out looking a little bit like a squid as well. Like the top of his head was a little bit like elongated, but that was fine now. Yeah, and oh my God, the feeling of relief at this point when he comes out, I went from having so much pain to no pain. I was just like, huh, oh, wait, are we done? Oh, fuck, shit, we're done. It was so crazy. I burnt the squid, I did. Yeah, it's like he took a huge shit, and then it's like, okay, now we're done. Okay, and then all of a sudden I get him up on my chest. The umbilical was kind of short, so at first they put him on the chest, and I could feel the fucking umbilical cord like pushing at my clitoris and vagina and everything, and I was like, ah. They're like, oops, it's a bit short, so let's put him on your stomach instead. Ariander, hi, thank you. Anyway, so yeah, there's actually more coming. Well, not another baby, but another body part. Anyway, how long did it all take? I mean, we arrived at the hospital at 7 a.m. He was out at 13:30. Well, I mentioned that. Anyway, so he's lying on my stomach, and I'm like, oh my God, he looks so blue. He was apparently fine. It was standard. 6 hours. Yeah, I guess 6 hours. It is pretty quick. And yes, I made it within her shift. She was going off at 3 o'clock, my fantastic midwife, and I managed to get the baby out during her shift at 1:30. So she even had time to do some like, you know, me care afterwards. So at this point, you think that everything is done, right? It's not done, okay? At this point, we need to get the placenta out. And apparently I hadn't been to the toilet since 5 hours. So my urine bladder, anyway, my bladder was pretty full. And she was expecting that is why the placenta wasn't, the afterbirth, exactly. The afterbirth wasn't coming out. Great. So she was like, we're going to have to manually empty your bladder with some sort of tube or something. Baby out, GGC next time. Anyway, so they empty my bladder. I didn't feel anything, and they basically stick up a tube into your urine, bladder, and they empty it like that, and out came like, I think it was like what, 250 milliliters of not the poop bladder, the pee bladder, urethra, yeah. Anyway, that thing. Out comes 250 milliliters. Yeah, that was a lot of pee. So that explained why the afterbirth wasn't coming out. At this point, She tries pushing a bit. She's like, I'm gonna push a bit on your stomach. Holy fuck, that was uncomfortable. Even I was thinking that everything was done and over with, and she just goes like this, on my stomach, hoping that the afterbirth was gonna come out. It did not come out. I'm just focused on my baby though. I'm just like, oh my god. Oh, she's like, you know what? Maybe you wanna take some of that laughing gas now. At this point, oh my god, the laughing gas was amazing. So I really, really think that it has to do with the level of pain you're in. Laughing gas works perfect for like milder pain. It doesn't do fucking shit when you're in so much pain that you're in labor, right? It's too much pain in that situation. Anyway, so at this point, the laughing gas was amazing. I took a bunch of laughing gas and I'm not sure, don't take my word for it, but I think she pulled out the afterbirth in the umbilical cord. I think. At this point, the baby had already they'd waited like a long time for the umbilical cord to stop pulsing so that the baby got all the nutrients from the umbilical cord, and then Olaf got to cut it off. So at this point, it wasn't attached to anything. How else is she gonna pull it out? I don't know. I thought they fucking came out. I don't know, just yank it out there or something. Apparently, no. She pulled it with the cord, which surprised me that it actually didn't break at that point. They kind of don't pull it out. It sort of slides out. Yeah, I think that's in a good case. But in my case, it didn't want to come out. So she had to use some force to get it out. Anyway, she did manage to get it out eventually. And then it was like, yay, it came out. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, do you want to look at it? Do you want to take it home? And I was like, what? But apparently it's standard to like plant a tree or something on your afterbirth. I was like, nah, you take it. I don't need it. Apparently, I got pictures of it though because my mom thought it was a good idea to take pictures of it. So I have pictures in my phone of it. I was like, okay. Yeah, I've heard that people eat it and shit. Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna show that. Pretty sure there might be body parts involved on that picture. Anyway, so at this point, they're just basically going to examine my vagina and stuff like that, clean a bit. There's a lot of blood and stuff. Well, a lot. There wasn't that much blood. I think I lost like 2 deciliters of blood or something in total. It wasn't that much. But anyway, it's bloody, yada, yada. She examines my vagina. And apparently, this was what I was most terrified of. Tearing. Okay, I was terrified to tear. There's not a second baby, no. I was terrified of tearing, and that is why I wanted to do a water birth, because it supposedly helps with tearing. Turns out I got a minor level 1 or degree 1 tear on my labia, which is like nothing. She basically said, I think I'm going to put 1 stitch here, but that is purely for cosmetics, and because why not be on the safe side that it's going to heal like good, it's going to heal on its own. It's just that I don't want the wrong, I wanted to have like a perfect like paper cut level, like really minor. She's like, I don't have to do the stitches here, but I recommend it. I was like, yeah, do it. I can do it. Anyway, stitches were fine. That is nothing in the context of the pain that you've been in. They do like this like local anesthesia thingy. It feels a little bit like a needle pinch, and then it was done. All right, Gucci. That was done, and then she's like, okay, now I need to test your what do you call it? Knipfunktion. Like, yeah, you're pretty numb from the birth at this point, so you don't feel that bad. Honestly. So true. I got stitched. Still what a place to get a paper cut, true. Yeah, after what you have endured, it's like nothing in the context. It really, really is nothing. Yeah, it really is, Sana. It really is. As someone who came in with the goal of having like I want an unmedicated birth, I want to like do this all natural, yada yada, I got the perfect midwife because she was all like female power, she's like, you're amazing, you can do this, you're making progress, well done, I'm so proud of you. And afterwards she came up to me and she just grabbed my arm and or my hand and she was like, You did such an amazing job. And like, I don't know. She was fantastic. I loved her. 10 of 10. Anyway, final thing before she was going off her shift is, okay, we're going to test your anal clamp function or whatever. So I'm going to shove in a finger. And I want you to squeeze. And we'll see if you still have your squeezability left. So she shoves the finger in and asks me to squeeze. Yeah, the sphincter, exactly. And I squeeze. She's like, perfect. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, great. Good. That was it. How much pain do you have in between contractions? Nothing. It's fine. I fell asleep. Why in a bathtub? Because it's a pain reliever in itself. If you want to do an unmedicated birth, it's kind of nice to be in the bathtub because, well, that is a pain reliever. Being in a hot bath. And also helps prevent tearing because you've got like warm water in the perineal area or whatever it's called, which kind of helps in like preventing tearing.
Did I try the laughing gas? I did try it, like a few gasps. Didn't feel anything, so then it was back to focusing on Gabbie. How was it for me? I was just pretty focused on helping Gabbie in the way that you can. I mean, she did like 98% of the job. I was just there reminding her that she need to breathe and that she need to relax between the verkar. What is it? Like every 60 seconds, she gets a 60-second session of pain, and in between she needs to relax. So that was my job. How did you feel when you saw him for the first time? Did I cry? I actually didn't cry then. I was just, proud of Gabbie, and she was all like, yeah, come to mommy with the baby. And I looked a little bit purple, and it was like, I mean, it's basically like, here's this little creature almost. And it's like, oh, that's my son. Wow. So a little bit strange feeling. And then like half an hour later, I got to hold him for the first time. So I sat down, like leaning back and open up, and had him lying down like this. Then I cried. How did the dogs react when you brought the baby home? I thought it would be more intense, but they're just kind of chill, just very curious, like sniffing on the baby. Alaska eventually got to give a kiss or two. But other than that, they're just super chill. Did I get skin to skin after birth? Yes. It took a while, actually. I was like, there were so many things that needed to happen, kind of. So after a while, I was like, when can I hold him? Yeah, I had to fight to hold my son. I didn't fight for it, but I was a little bit like, when can I hold him? Being a dad is the best thing in life. I don't know yet. I think it's a little bit too early to tell. I think it will be, for sure. But it's like, I think it will be more and more fun the older he gets. Because right now it's more like, I mean, he needs his mommy a lot. And then it's kind of cute, but he doesn't really do anything. It's just, he just looks cute, basically.
Was it a weird feeling when you're allowed to leave the hospital and you realize you've got to look after this? Yeah, literally. I was like, what do you do? What now?
He's so not reacting to that.
Yeah,
like he's just
he
immune, which
he's
is
not
amazing.
Much of a crier.
Because imagine if every time they barked, he would wake up and start crying.
Yeah,
like he would do that like 10 times a day.
Yeah, but he doesn't. It's so nice. Did they check the balls? Yeah, they checked that the balls had dropped. They dropped. Oh, good. And
he is well hung.
Yeah.
Well hung.
Well hung. I don't think you can say that in English.
Smile. Time to leave.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you, chat. Bye-bye.
I did not feel like I went into labor 12 days ago. It's crazy. It's so insane, actually, how fast the body recovers. That was my birth story. If you did like it, or if you have any questions about anything, leave them in the comments below, and I will reply when I can.
Baby.
Thank you for watching. Check out my recommended videos as well.
Subsies.
Bye.
Thank you.